What's up? So tonight we got another 90s show, radio show, because the show that we're about to review is from the 80s. But it's kind of a 90s show because it ended in the 90s, but I'm just going to count it as another 90s show that we're here to review, Full House. It's another 90s show that's in my 90s library of shows that this is a show that I've actually seen before, so unlike Sabrina and Buffy, where I haven't seen them, this is a show that I've seen like a billion of times because it's a great classic. So anyway, so this episode kind of starts off with a theme, which is a great theme, and then we see the main character, Danny's mom, show up, and she has to leave, but Danny's kids, DJ and Steffi, don't want her to leave, but she has to. He's kind of like, oh yeah, she's been there since his wife died, and kind of dark opening of an episode, saying the wife has already died. Like this show may be classic, but it's a dark opening. So so they kind of don't want her to leave, but she does leave, and so he's like, hey, everything's gonna be great. Joey's moving in, Jesse's moving in, and with them, and so everything's totally gonna be great, and even DJ and Stephanie's gonna be moving in DJ's room, and he's like, hey, it's like a, and then she gets brought off DJ's clothes, and DJ's kind of like, that's kind of, she's kind of happy about it. But, she's kind of, not happy about it. And he's like, hey, it'll be like a slumber party. And she's like, it's like a sleepover. And she's like, yeah, a sleepover with a guest that never leaves. So then Jesse comes in and he starts saying, about a Smash Club where he met, where he met, a girl. And so Stephanie kind of forced him to play ballerina with her because he's like, no. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, no. He's like, no. And she's like, yeah. And then she like fake cries, saying, no. And then he's like, yeah. And then he's like, okay. like that's a really forcing way to force this guy, their uncle, to John Stamos is amazing. And then Joey comes in, and Joey is like he's the kind of guy who does all the voices, and he does a Kermit voice, he does a Pee Wee Herman voice, and he even does a Popeye voice. Look. I do not know how to do a Popeye voice. That's just my best trying to do it. But anyway, so he's like, Danny, this place is like, how is he supposed to live in this? And he's like, this is not a place, Joey, it's an alcove. And he's like, this place is enormous. So then we see DJ, and she's trying to tell Stephanie, like, don't touch all her stuff and all this stuff, and Stephanie's like, how am I gonna get out of here? She's like, you can climb on the tree. And she's like, yeah, that's not happening. like, how is she supposed to climb out of the tree? Like, she could be in real danger if she did that. So she just she climbs on the window, and DJ tries to open it, sliding her off, and tries to open it, sliding her off, and obviously, So then we meet Danny's other baby, Michelle, who obviously is crying, and obviously that stuff, and So Joey says to do one of his, impressions to, cheer her up because, thinks that will help her. But obviously, she's still crying over there, and obviously, he's like, Jesse, he's like, Jesse, I think Michelle needs to be changed, and obviously, so they try and do it, and hilarity obviously ensues because these two guys are like, doing it like stick her in a pot, and she's like, and Stephanie's like, showtime, like this is gonna be good. I don't think she's gonna come across like that. So anyway, she's like, are you trying to cook Michelle over here? He's like, Stephanie, we're very busy. And she's like, then how you roast the turkey then? So yeah. So yeah, the thing we could joke about, they want to be moms or something, and so yeah, there's also another adult joke about later in the episode, but I'm totally not gonna mention it because it's probably an adult joke. So Danny comes home, discovers that DJ moved out, and he's like, you guys, like, you lost 30% of his children, 33% of his children. Well, you kind of, so DJ's talking with her friend Kimmy Gibbler. Obviously, she'll become important to the series because they wouldn't just mention a character about her being important, and then they're trying to get her to move back, but then she's like, nah. So yeah, Joe even does like a Bill Cosby impression, and then Kimmy thinks it's obviously Bill Cosby, and then DJ's like, no, it's not the real Bill Cosby. So then Stephanie comes in saying that Michelle's got a thirsty look in her eye, so obviously he goes upstairs to deal with her, and she's dealing with he tries to like bribe DJ, and she's like, hey, he deals with his girl and she'll come upstairs, so she ups it to $20. So but then DJ like, but then Jesse comes upstairs and discovers the girl's gone. And he, like, covers Stephanie's ears, which is so hilarious and it's kind of funny. But then DJ's like, Jesse paid her to come back. Then he's like, that is your way? Like, that is your special thing with kids? Bribing them off? So, but then the girl leaves, so she's like, he's like, hey, deal's off. So she's like, back in the garage she goes. And yeah. So he goes to talk to her. She's kind of, like, oh yeah, like, she lost her mom, then she lost then her grandma left, and then, then she had to lose her room, like, everything keeps disappearing for her, and he's like, hey, he agrees with the exact same thing that she's going through. And yeah, but he's like, hey, he's got her, he's got Stephanie, she's got Uncle Jesse, she's got Danny, she's got, Joey, and she's like, yeah, were you giving her a shot? She's like, yeah, she'll give her a shot living with Stephanie. And then the episode ends with them doing a Flintstones song around Michelle, which is obviously a milestone for this sequel series because they do that again. We'll talk about that series when we get to it, but we have 8 seasons to go through. So, does this episode hold up as a whole? It really does in 2021 because I really enjoyed this episode. It was a pretty good pilot, and yeah, watching a 90s show like that you've seen like bunches of times and not for the first time like with my other shows like Sabrina and Buffy, I never saw them before. Those are my first time watching, but with Full House, I've seen it like a bunch of times, so I can I've already made my opinion. But for reviews, this is my first reviewing of the show, so I'm really excited to get to this show because this show is great. Some of the actors are great. They picked some of the actors. They picked Meg Hanna and Ashley Olsen, which they're great. So yeah, so we'll see you next time for another Full House. And yeah, we'll see you next time for Full House. No, like, Whoopi trademark because, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on Full House. Bow, wow, wow, wow. as the credits roll out. Yeah.